need to get some cheap points with that first serve, which he's capable of doing. I think we'll see as this match goes on that it'll probably be Malisse, Mary, with the higher numbers in both winners and unforced errors.
He's definitely more of a risk taker out there.
When you look at this stadium, guys, it's 3:20 in the afternoon, and there is not a seat except in the Pooh seats to be had. I mean, it is jammed and it'll be humming.
It's not just because of Andre Agassi. I mean, the French, they like, I mean, of course, they like their tennis, but they especially like artistic tennis, stylish tennis. And they've watched Malisse enough to know that sometimes Malisse is Matisse.
Question is, will Agassi be the Picasso today?
Oh, listen to you.
Picasso, they had that in New York recently. This exhibit there. You came, right, Cliff?
Yeah, I was there.
To MoMA in Queens to see that?
I was part of the opening. 15,000 in the stadium, over 15,000.
The French also know a good matchup. They can smell one. You see that often here in the outside courts as well. Start to gather, but it's a very, very hot day today. A lot of caps in the crowd, and that could be a factor as well. Conditions a bit quicker.
It's hot for Paris. It doesn't qualify as hot down under in Melbourne or New York, for example, can be sometimes in September.
Guys, I think this first game is longer than Serena's match.
Game point for Malisse. An interesting and to some extent inspiring story. Think about the Fab Four and the different directions that they've gone. Jimmy Courier, we haven't seen him in a couple of years, and Michael Chang on his farewell tour. Great comeback from Sampras, but frankly at the US Open last year, but he hadn't been playing really for a couple of years very well. And Agassi at 33 is playing as well as he ever has. It's unbelievable. Is he playing as well as he ever has?
I think at the Australian Open, he played better than he ever had.
It's the most dominant Grand Slam win he's had in his career. 32 at the time.
And those two matches this year.
Allowing Malisse to open up on that forehand of his, because he can hit any part of the court off that forehand side. That is an awful long first game, and it'll be interesting to see whether Malisse can consistently challenge Agassi's serving, because you know Agassi's going to hang around and make him throw an awful lot of pitches when he's serving.
8-minute first game going to Malisse. See Agassi sweating there, this 33-year-old from Las Vegas. Now, Mary, we were talking the other day about how he and Steffi had bought a place up in San Francisco, and I guess it's for sale now, and they're heading back toward Vegas country. Is that true?
Well, I don't think they ever really moved. I mean, as long as Andre wants to continue to play tennis, it makes all kinds of sense for him to stay based there. I mean, that's where he grew up. That's where he's most comfortable. So much of his charity work, I mean, it's all right in there. That's where his fitness trainer and best friend Gil Reyes lives, and his other best friend, his agent Perry Rogers. So he's dug in there for a while longer.
Got got the hills out there he can run that he knows so well, which he and Gil Reyes did after Agassi lost in the opening round in Rome. They went back to Las Vegas, trained very hard for 2 weeks. Ran the hills, hit the gym. Got the leg strong, is what Gil told me a few days ago.
That's just a ridiculously good shot.
Looked like a perfect second serve from Agassi. Kicked out wide. Malisse just put his racket out there, put some underspin. Came up with a miraculous drop shot.
Love 30.
Malisse hit all kinds of brilliant shots for almost 2 solid weeks at Wimbledon last year, where he beat, among others, Yevgeny Kafelnikov, Greg Ruzetsky, and Richard Krajicek, before finally losing in the semifinals to this, what turned out to be the surprise finalist, David Nalbandian, the Argentine. The Brits liked him, too. A little eccentric.
Yeah.
Works well in that country. He just got so nervous in that semifinal. He was physically ill, remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And just, it all got to him.
His heart rate was rising.
Yeah.
Couldn't control it, yeah.
This was a good month for him last year. He played pretty well here too. Took out, among others, Tim Henman 4 sets, and roughshod dragon Albert Portas of Spain. He lost to Sebastian Grosjean, the Frenchman, the round of 16, and then the semi-final at Wimbledon. So there's a little pressure points-wise on him, but that's probably the last thing on his mind right now. Agassi is on his mind, and Agassi's got to gain point. Look where Agassi is, and look where Malisse is.
Well, Agassi's just working over the Malisse backhand side so effectively, and then once he's opened up the court, spread it far enough, he'll go down to the Malisse forehand.
I mean, he stalks the baseline, and Malisse, look where Agassi is here.
Well, that's what dragged Malisse off the court. I mean, that's when Agassi gained control of the rally right there. That's just beautiful.
And that's why playing against Andre Agassi is physically so demanding. It's not the length of time of the match. It's points like that continuously. And that's what Malisse needs, to get some short points, to use his backhand down the line. That's where Agassi can be vulnerable from someone that's got a real good backhand that can go back down the line to his forehand. Agassi has won both meetings.
Been a while. Last one was on a hard court last year in Scottsdale.
And they've never played a 3 of 5 set match, which would surely favor Agassi.
Played squash for a little while, and you try to hog the middle of the court in squash, and in a way, from the standpoint of just where Agassi positions himself, there's something similar.
Oh, that's beautiful. So much flow to Malisse's game. So smooth. Watch the way he slides over. He glides. He knows he's in good position here. He just slides. Good little footwork, and then doesn't go for too much, but he has plenty of angle to work with. That's also something that helps in a long match, that you play with that smooth effort. It doesn't take as much out of you.
The beauty of Malisse's game is that he moves so beautifully. He gives himself time to make his shots. And very, very light on his feet on every surface. You can't hit those kind of shots unless you're doing an awful lot of very hard footwork. That's what makes the stroke look easy.
Sails on, and Malisse holds on. He's got 2 games to 1. No serve breaks yet in this men's singles third round. Thank you, Chris. 2 games to 1. Malisse first set. He receiving Agassi serve here, 30-15 in this game. A couple of good .com questions here for you guys after this.
Oh, that's nice. It was Agassi who made this one famous, a swinging forehand volley. Malisse says, yeah, I learned a couple tricks from you, Andre. This little dropper.
30-all. That got the line. No complaint from Malisse, and it's game point Agassi. Tell you what, it started out we're 18 minutes into this match, folks. 18 minutes, 3 games completed so far. Could be a while. That sails, and it's even. Question here from Victor Eminger. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, from Pensacola. Why is Serena always the favorite, at least in terms of Grand Slams, to win a Grand Slam even on clay? That's her worst surface. And Agassi not considered to be one of the 2 favorites to win the French, even with these incredible years so far. Does Serena have a better adaptation to clay than Andre, or is it because there's not so many specialists on clay in the women's tour as there are on the men's?
There you go. Answered his own question there. It's not as big a factor, the surface in the women's game, as it is in the men's game. More specialists on the clay. And the women, because they don't play with a lot of spin, they play, relatively speaking, the same type of game on any surface. Serena's going to play about the same on grass as she plays on clay. She's going to play with a little more margin on this stuff.
Serena is clearly a bigger favorite to win the French than Agassi is.
Well, and historically, women players, they don't duck surfaces like so many of the guys do. I mean, there are male tennis players all over the grounds that you're just never going to see at Wimbledon. They don't even bother playing them. Not even some of the top guys. I mean, Guga Kirtan hasn't played. You know, a lot of those guys don't even play. Correia.
And the reason they don't play there is because they know they don't have a chance.
Yeah.
If they thought they could actually go there and have a chance, they would be there.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, Monica Seles never won Wimbledon, and it's very likely she never will. But she played it. I mean,
well, she knew she could get to the quarters or semis.
Well, she got to 1 final actually, losing badly to Steffi Graf, but beating Martina in the semis. I mean, women play.
There's that backhand down the line again from the X-Man.
X-Man holds on, 3-2. Agassi will serve when we come back. No breaks yet. On a spectacular day, it's Andre Agassi serving in the first set to Xavier Malisse of Belgium. Nearly paid the price for being a little too casual on that one, but Agassi's got 30-love in this game. Not going to forget the second round match in a hurry, Agassi. Had no trouble with Beck in the first round, but against Ancic, he struggled.
40-0.
And not to forget that he choked that game when he served for the match at 5-4 in the fifth.
Throwing a couple double faults.
Andre Agassi is so precise. Malisse hits that drop shot. That's fine. Agassi gets to it, and both he and Agassi know that he can direct that thing 99 times out of 100 to very close to where he wants the ball to land. It's amazing, actually. Correa with an easy win.
Ferreira having to retire in the fourth with a terrible looking injury to his groin hip area. By the way, Correa is a guy we should start talking about because he's headed potentially for, well, he'll play Zabaleta next, who took out El Anawi, and very likely will and take on Agassi if Andre will take on Agassi in the quarters.
Malisse won that point, but it's still the kind of point Agassi wants to play. And he did so much more road work, Xavier Malisse, than Agassi. He got the last word, but he'll take his time stepping up to the plate again after this very long physical rally where he did just about all the running.
And clearly Agassi's come out with that specific game plan, merited. Move Malisse side to side. He didn't come out with that game plan the other day against Ancic, or at least he didn't execute it. So Malisse needs some easy holds on serve.
4-3 Malisse first set. Agassi's serving at 3-4 first set against Xavier Malisse. Agassi's the number 2 seed.
Even the Poobahs are in there now, Cliff. That's the Poobahs right behind Agassi. Lovely.
Too high from the minute he hit it.
Yeah, but Agassi's intentions are very clear, aren't they? He wants to control the middle of the court and make Malisse do a lot of running. He's been picking on the Malisse backhand side, as you can see. Look at the ad side of the court. And as you can also see, though, Agassi can hit with all kinds of length, shot after shot. He's making Malisse move all over the place. He wants to take his legs out from under him so his shot making will go off.
Didn't go off there.
No, he did not want that.
Yeah, Poobah's even reacted to this one. Malisse stepping into that forehand. What a beautiful stroke. He's well behind the baseline, but he's so fluid, accelerates through that ball. And Agassi with a tough second serve to hit here at 15-30. How about that? Slid it up the middle for the first time in a while in that ad court.
And in the third round here, we've got 2 seeded players playing against each other. They seed all those players now 32. Malisse at 26, Agassi is seeded 2. Break point.
There's that heavy kicking return there from Malisse, the one that Agassi has to time perfectly because he takes the ball on the rise and mishit that one.
Malisse says he'd been a soccer player if he hadn't been a tennis player. Had a couple of bad years. Kind of wanted to quit, he said, in 2000. Gave it one more shot.
Oh, hello.
He's up in the semi-final of Wimbledon last year. Big return, and Malisse, for the second time this game, has got a break point.
Intentional drop shot, that one, Patrick.
It was, but it wasn't a smart shot. He didn't move his feet quickly enough to get out to it so he could get it back deep. And Agassi up to it quickly. Just had to roll it into the open court.
Not much margin for error on a drop shot. Like a topspin lob. Too many things can go wrong. That's one of them. Slight mishit on the topspin lob, and Malisse giving him the apologetic gesture there. But break point for Malisse again.
He's smiling. He did not intend for that shot to be so effective. Gives him another chance to go up 5-3. Oh boy, and misses the easy one.
I guess he had his chances early in the set. They've both saved 3 break points.
Agassi continuing to look to find that forehand of Malisse on the serve.
Oh, that's a great shot.
Beautifully measured.
Their serve percentages for Agassi are pretty low, Patrick.
There's almost no one in the world that could take this ball on the rise. See where Agassi hit that right around his shoulder and still able to flatten it out with angle.
41% first serves, game point Agassi. Three break points, but he hangs on, and we're even at 4 apiece.
Agassi changing frames or getting some new rackets down to the court. He is changing. Doesn't usually change it after 8 games.
He would have changed after the last game, Mary.
Exactly.
7 games of new balls. Kubek, that was the one Malisse came from 2 sets down to win 8-6 in the 5th.
Killer Cahill. I guess he's coach.
Well, you better be definitive with a shot like that. If you're Malisse, if you're in that part of the court, you got to go for that shot. He hit it right back to Agassi. This one right here didn't do enough with it. And you give Agassi an opening, he'll take it every time.
Love 30. Double fault, break points 3 in a row now. This is the 4th chance that Agassi's had in the set. That's Jay Schweier, that's Agassi's stringer, and I'll ask you a question about the strings. Patrick, you were saying the other day that he had changed his strings. Was that Agassi in Rome a couple of years ago?
Last year he changed a string to this Luxilon. They're talking about it now, and maybe wanting to get some more rackets strung up. But this is a very popular string now with a lot of the players, particularly the clay court players.
Break point. Agassi draws first blood with a break, 5-4. He'll serve for the first set in this third round men's singles at the French. Agassi to serve for the first set here on court Philippe Chatrier. We're live at the French Championships on another spectacular day weather-wise. This place is jammed. 15,000 plus people here. Agassi serving. Cliff Drysdale, Patrick McEnroe, Mary Carrillo.
We speak about how different Agassi is from the old days when, you know, so much flash and that image is everything campaign of his. He's turned into a much different fellow, much more full of substance than image. Just to flesh out what Xavier Malisse's character, what he's like, he was asked last year what his favorite book is, and he said, I've never finished one. And
Dirty love.
Malisse was asked, again, so different from the server. Malisse was asked if you could be taking a plane anywhere in the world, who would you want to sit next to? And he said, party girls.
The sense is that last break, the two games that we just saw before this one were huge. Agassi seems to have now, I mean, he's got set point here. And
it was that whole game that really broke open the set.
Yes.
Three different chances Malisse had to take the lead in the first set. One was a good shot from Agassi, but the other two went begging on Malisse errors. And obviously it shook him up when he had to serve.
Set point Agassi. Now, just waits his time, steers into the open court, and Agassi, without much trouble, at least in that last game, has won the set.
Philippe Chatrier court. Andre Agassi gets the break to secure the first set over Xavier Malisse, 6-4. Time on the set was 39 minutes. Andre Agassi in the second set against Malisse. Cliff?
The first game goes here to Malisse in the second set, so this is Agassi serving. We're on serve in the second. First set, Agassi, one break, 6-4. She wants to make clay her strongest surface. It'll be tough. As good as she is on a hard court and grass, as we've been talking about, this is probably her worst surface. But Serena Williams saying some interesting things to you anyway.
Now, I talked to Serena about it the other day, and I was telling Serena how much I loved watching Martina Navratilova play on clay, because you just got to see every part of her game. Her defense, her offense, her shot making, long point play, and Serena was kind of getting into that whole idea. She was listening hard, and I think she just knows that this surface can add more facets to her game and allow her to show off more facets of her game.
Do badly here last year, beating her sister in the final. There's a broken racket that Malisse is switching. And that started her run of 4 straight slam titles. Leave Sands and backs with Candy Ness. But remember, last year at the Australian, she had to pull out with an injury which she incurred in the final, the warm-up tournament in Sydney just before the Australian. Otherwise, I think we may have a slam winner right here in Williams, and I'm talking about all in 1 year. 10-point Agassi.
Find out a lot about the heart of Xavier Malisse's next couple of sets and the fitness level of this guy, because certainly now that Agassi's got a 1-set lead, he will try to work even harder at making Malisse work that much harder.
Yeah, it's not just Malisse's heart, it's his lungs and his legs.
Yeah. Well, both are going to be tested.
Much of the fear factor is a factor here when the players play against Agassi. I guess Ancic didn't show much fear in the last round.
He played a beautiful match. I mean, that kid who has not played an awful lot of 5-setters in his young career, I thought he came out, he was fit, obviously. He stayed through a tough 5-set match. His form held up, which means he really has been training hard, as Patrick said he had.
Game point.
See, the thing that changed around Andre Agassi's game and, say, Jennifer Capriati's game is that when they got fitter, they played so much smarter. They worked to get behind the ball so much earlier. They were able to take the ball earlier. They were able to play long points, not go for the kill shot, as Malisse tends to still do.
Game point Agassi again.
You just set yourselves up so much better when you know you can trust your legs, you can trust your lungs. You just your decision-making process goes up exponentially. Xavier Malisse is forced to grind, he's going to lose the match.
.com question here, Patrick. We were talking about strings earlier. Jay Saul of Tucson says, you said Agassi was using different strings to get more spin. Please explain. Name the different strings used by the pros.
Well, the one that he's using is called Luxilon, and as I started, I talked about a little bit earlier, he switched to it just before the Italian Open started in 2002. You see that sort of dark string. A lot of the Kirtan uses it, Ferrero. A lot of the dirt ballers like it. And Agassi said that he thinks that switching to that string, number one, he said give him a lot more control with the ball. The ball, these strings grip the ball a lot more, so it seems to stay on the racket. And Agassi said he believes that switching to this string is going to give him another 2-3 years on the tour. Now, he said it, not me. Obviously, all the training and the fitness and etc. But he said when he started to use the string, that he felt that he couldn't miss. You know, he could take big cuts at the ball.
Send me a dozen. Game point.
Yeah, somebody don't think it'll work that way for the rest of us, like that. See, that's sort of a big cut off of a big serve, and the ball stays in. You have more control.
But he surely wasn't enjoying much control against Ancic for 2.5 sets in the last round. Today is a much different effort from Agassi right from the start.
Yeah, the focus has been there from the first hit of the ball today. And the determination there to work the points. And he's had the luxury in this match, at least, that Malisse is staying back and working the points as well. Ancic was just barreling in on him
Ancic was in his face every single moment he could be. Malisse, it's like Agassi's going to say, look, hey, go ahead, I'll give you your winners, but they probably won't add up to much. Not enough.
That's a winner for Malisse, and he's got a 2-1 lead on serving the second. There's only been one break in the match. There's enough for Agassi in the first. On serving the second, Agassi had 1-2. He won the first. This is best of 5 sets. We're live in Paris, everyone. The French Championships. Cliff Drysdale, Mary Carrillo, Patrick McEnroe. And Andre Agassi, who's the number 2 seed in this year's second slam, taking on Xavier Malisse of Belgium, seeded 26. Agassi's the veteran, playing like a 22-year-old, which is Malisse's age. He's 33.
Malisse has been around for a long time, though. I mean, this is... he first showed up on the Pro Tour at 17. Dated Jennifer Capriati for a while. Some party years for
both of them.
For both of them.
Didn't help either one of them with their tennis.
It really did not.
For a while, Jennifer was one of those girls on the plane next to him.
Exactly right. She sure looked good yesterday.
It's interesting too how we were talking about the strings and trends start on the tour, and players see other players getting an edge. It's happened with rackets over the years. One guy starts to use a particular brand, and that gets popular for a while. Then a new one comes along, and that gets popular. Everyone's looking for that little extra edge. Tinkering constantly.
It has become a game of precision, and in that regard, maybe the most precise player ever, in my mind anyway, is the man you're watching, Andre Agassi.
Pete Sampras was pretty precise when it came to his tension and string job and the thickness, the gauge of the string, which is how thick or thin it is.
Indeed.
He used to get him strung up fresh every morning with a gut string, a natural string.
Van Lendl.
I was going to say, Van Lendl
really started it all.
He started all of that. He's the guy who changed rackets when there were a change of balls. He's the first man I remember who would do that.
2-2 second set.
Of course, Bjorn Borg used to carry around about 50 rackets because he'd had them strung so tight they'd snap in the middle of the night while he was just sitting in his hotel room.
Martina Hingis' mom did all of Hingis' stringing, and she'd get up every morning and string 10 rackets. It got to the point where she could bang out a racket in about 15 or 20 minutes, but every morning Hingis showed up with brand new rackets, and a lot of the guys do that.
That's motherly love there.
That's mother love.
I mean, my mom cooked me breakfast, but...
A couple of Pop-Tarts and you're on your way.
She was happy when I got my license. She didn't have to drive me to all those tournaments.
15-30, 2 games all. Watch out, Malisse. Now break points for Agassi, and you dig yourself a hole against Agassi nowadays.
And that's a sign there that Malisse's legs are starting to suffer. Going for the backhand up the line winner very early in that rally.
There'll be no escaping this Agassi trap. Break points.
Oh, he's got it, yeah.
Oh,
Malisse is there.
He had it, Patrick, and he didn't do enough with it. He thought Malisse was out of that point. Remember this one.
Well, it could be important, but so Agassi, he got it pretty high over the net. He thought he had that luxury. I mean, but Agassi was in position to hit that a lot harder and lower. Just didn't think he had to.
Well, doesn't mean anything now because he gets the break anyway, and it's 3-2 for Agassi. First blood of the second set. He won the first behind one break. Of course, Philippe Chatrier in action. Andre Agassi, the number 2 seed. In the second round, it was ever Malisse and Kubek. Here's a look at 6-6 in the fifth set with this big chance for Malisse. He puts that away, and that gets him to match point, which is this one.
I mean, not only was this match incredibly physical, but mental. I mean, that takes a lot of wear and tear out of you mentally and emotionally to get through a match like this.
Takes out Stefan Kubek of Austria, 8-6 in the fifth after losing the first two.
It's about how he's feeling right now, laying down there. He was happy, but...
Who's the worst guy you can play after a match like that?
Yeah, no doubt it's Agassi.
Why, Patrick? Why do you say that?
Well, just because he just, you know, and he makes you work so hard, Cliff. I mean, every point he's able, with his ability to take the ball early, to hurt you off both sides, to change direction off of both sides. Some guys, you know, love to hit the inside-out forehand, and that's their go-to shot. They work a point to try to set that up. Agassi can go either way, short, deep, take it up the line, cross both sides. So therefore, he has so many options at his disposal. But Malisse here, jumping on that second serve, he's got to take more chances. The Belgian.
Great points here for Malisse.
Again, he wants to turn this into a hitting match because he cannot win a running battle with Agassi. It's not like Agassi gives you an awful lot to hit.
Like 10 body blows in a row. Yeah. That's just brutal. I mean, I was privileged enough in '91 to play Agassi on this court, Cliff, and I had played 2 matches in the first 2 rounds that lasted about 3.5, 4 hours that I won, and then I played Agassi in the 3rd round. I lost in about 1 hour and 45 minutes, and I was absolutely exhausted. And I wasn't tired from the other matches. It was just because every point was... That was me, by the way, 12 years ago, every point.
He must have just wanted to, like, put it away.
Get me out of here.
This cat and mouse stuff is no fun when you're the mouse.
Yeah, that's called good on the line.
Avantage, Malisse.
That's a great effort to come back after that last point, and he's got to take these chances. And giving a little look, saying, all right, not going to do that to me again, Andre. But look, see, that's what happens. It's just you have to play that risky tennis.
I mean, he has had his chances.
He's had them, but again, Agassi's playing so well on those big points.
Great points that Malisse has not converted one. Now Agassi's got a game point. And there looks to be some resignation there in Malisse's attitude now, which is really bad news. I mean, there's so many tough aspects to Andre Agassi's game. He has short backswings off both sides as he takes a 4-2 lead, and that's one of them. Taking a look at them right here, as you can see, first of all, on the forehand side, left of your screen, he'll take the full shoulder turn, but at least on the right of your screen. But take a look at that. The racket gets high, but not near as high as most of these clay courters do. And the backhand side, same thing. Just look how compact and short relatively the swing is. Shoulder turns, elbows go with it, but look how far the racket goes back, hardly at all. And then he just whips through that with a little wrist snap on that two-hander. Very good control off both sides, and he seems to be able to hit off both wings on a dime. Fantastic. 4-2 Agassi, second set, first set 6-4.
Down 0.
Retiring with an injury in that fourth set. Pulled his groin, his abdomen area badly. Too many times Malisse is now sliding into the forehand side, going with the slice as his legs are given out from under him. He can't get over there. Zabaleta takes out Elanawi in 4. Williams doesn't lose a game. Elanawi was rocking the house in Australia, but he was sort of turned to overdone couscous here, as Argentinian Zabaleta took him out in 4, setting up an all-Argentinian battle between Zabaleta and Cordia next round.
Smooth.
Didn't give up the court either in that last point. Malisse didn't find himself drifting beyond the baseline, chasing down Agassi's stuff.
Malisse, he holds on, and he is trailing a service break in the second 4-3. Agassi won the first. Agassi to serve, and we come back. Men's singles third round at the French. First set, Agassi's got 4-3 and 15 love.
On to 0. Down to 0.
Yeah, this is when Agassi is able to get a lot more cheap points after he's done that hard work early on in the match. Now just sliding the serve out wide. Not great serves, but well placed. They're forcing errors from Malisse. Again, opening up the court with the first serve out wide.
5-3 Agassi.
Agassi mène 5 choses à 3.
I think that's when Agassi's feeling his most confident, Mary, when he is looking to slide the serve wide rather than go for those hard, flat ones down the center, which he was doing in the beginning of that match with Ancic. To me, that's a sign that he's trying to finish the points too quickly. When he starts to go for the big flat serve down the middle.
Malisse has one of those superstitions, I think, that players have with taking balls from ball boys. You didn't want to take one from the guy that's behind him on your right as you're looking at his court. Pretty low.
Oh, yes.
So wide, he almost got that outside of the net.
Good wide serve. Agassi mishits it. See where takes this from. Yeah, right around the net post.
.30 in the afternoon, just about, and local time that is, and Agassi will serve for the second set. Agassi about to serve for the second set, two-set lead. He won the first 6-4. It's 5-4 now. Third round men's singles.
Malisse making a good effort here and then showing his group, his team, that he still has the heart to fight this battle, because that has long been in question with this guy. He can go away on you in a hurry, and he's proving here that, and he's got to know he's not going to win this match. It would take a tremendous effort. And he's very, very good. I don't mean to marginalize what he does, but there is such intent in everything Andre Agassi is doing today, including where he's serving.
Look at that on the deuce side. The yellow balls, all first serves from Agassi. Another one here to start this point. Oh, wow.
Great points here from Malisse.
What a couple of points from Xavier Malisse here. Just exploding into that two-hander. Now Agassi's trying to save 3 more. He hasn't been broken yet. Oh, that's just tremendous. Wow.
On the 9th chance, Malisse converts. And we're even in the second.
You know, that's why they're packing this Philippe Chatrier court, because they knew that what the X-Man is capable of delivering. What a stretch of a few points there.
He was running around that one.
I heard Malisse grunt so loud on that first serve. I said, man, he's full pumped up of adrenaline now, and I saw he's got to calm himself down now.
Certainly played that last game calmly.
He's overexcited right now. The heart is pumping. just goes right back to work, Agassi. Nothing will prevent him from his relentless approach to this match.
Tell that story again about the heart pumping at Wimbledon last year. It's Malisse.
Yeah, he was, I mean, he was physically ill on the court. He had to call the trainer out.
That was in the semis?
The semis, yeah. You don't really follow tennis, do you?
Is that tournament over in London somewhere?
Following this year's.
Oh, man.
Yeah, 2 doubles.
Could not have played a better return game, and now he could not have played a better serve game.
But you talked about it earlier, Mary, the decision-making when your legs start to go, and Malisse is trying to fight that as well as his opponent.
Break points, he saves 1. It's 15-40. Agassi winning the first set behind 1 break. Now at 5-all, Agassi just broken his chance to break back.
Oh, yeah, Agassi can sense it.
And he is relentless, as we've talked about in the past, as Agassi will serve for the second time for the second set. Agassi serving for the second time. Malisse played a beautiful game on Agassi's last serve game. Can he do it again?
No.
15 love.
I wasn't supposed to answer that, right, Cliff? Was it we call a rhetorical question or not?
See, your vocabulary is improving every day.
Well, now, you know, Mary's here. It's helping me out there. It certainly isn't you. There's the squash forehand again from Malisse.
Anybody who knows tennis, and certainly anyone who plays tennis, knows that the ultimate feeling on a tennis court is knowing that your opponent can hurt you. Agassi gets to feel that way more than anybody else.
That's for sure.
Set points here for Agassi. Well, it's not, but he sure makes it look easy. Agassi leading now by 2 sets to none.
Was then quite a display. A heroic effort by Agassi. He went deep inside that little body to come from 2 sets down and win this treasure title.
Agassi's career reborn 4 years ago right in the Chatrier court. This match, no 2-set hold.
The third set, Agassi wins the first one 6-4 and then served for the second to win the second 6-4, and he did not succeed in his first effort. Finally wins it 7-5. Should mention that Coria took out Caleri, who's an Argentinian, and Gaudio to win the Tennis Masters Series event in Hamburg on clay. That's the last Tennis Masters Series event before this French. So he has got to be confident, and he's obviously very strong. He moves so well, too.
And the match I'm looking forward to most of all tomorrow on the men's side, Cliff, is that Gaucho Gaudio against Gustavo Kirten. And that could be a semi-final type match there.
Well, now, just a sec. There's a guy waiting for the winner of that match who's the top seed in the
Leighton
tournament.
Hewitt. Well, he's got a tough one, too, with Tommy Robredo, the Spaniard. That's a tough little quarter of the draw there.
Loves 30.
Malisse, who comes from Belgium, says tennis has become the second biggest sport after soccer. Makes a little bit of sense, especially on the women's side. Kim Clijsters, now the world's #2, and Justine Henin-Ardin are lighting up tennis in Belgium. It's funny how one country, you know, if a sport kicks in, look at what happened with Sweden when Bjorn Borg started doing so well. The entire country embraces the sport. Graf is around too to pump up the tennis racket sales in Germany. That's so good. That's just... He's exactly right. That eyebrow arch says it all.
Just that great control from Agassi on the run.
Yeah, there wasn't much topspin on that lob, was there? He sort of steered that one up.
That was a Jimmy Connors-like lob for the bunt. Flat lob, as opposed to the heavy topspin.
The kind you have to chase down.
Yeah. Yeah, flat-footed there, Malisse. And this is, if you're up there in the Malisse box and you're his coach or his trainer, look at that. That's a pretty intimidating stat. 34-0 and winning the first 2 sets. This is where you, as you said, Mary, you're not expecting to win this match if you're Malisse or you're in his camp, but you want to see him fight. You want to see the effort. You want to see it take this like a man, this match, and fight in this 3rd set.
But it is the worst surface and the worst opponent to try to make that kind of a comeback on.
Yeah, I'm not even talking about making a comeback. I'm just saying stay in there, keep running for balls as he does here. Put it out there. You know, sometimes what you can gain respect-wise, not just from yourself and from the locker room, from the people around you, is just as important as winning a match.
Well, you owe it to the crowd anyway. This is show business.
Agassi would have had to step out on this court in a very different mood for Malisse to have really had a chance. But he was dialed in from the moment he stepped on Philippe Chatrier.
ESPN's coverage of the PGA Memorial Tournament continues today. Charles Howell III shot a 64, matching the best score in the 28-year history of the Memorial. Kenny Perry's 1 back at 65. Tiger Woods 3 back. Second round coverage begins at 3:30 Eastern on ESPN with Sports Center at the Memorial, presented by Morgan Stanley, which previews today's action.
Oh, that is just such surgical, intense defensive work from Agassi. Agassi would not have made these 2 balls leading up to that. I wish we could have seen the 2 shots before that last one, because Agassi just chased him down. And that is what has been the turnaround in this man's game. That spirit now, that determination. He made a decision. He had to come to mama talk with the people around him. Brad Gilbert, Gil Reyes, 5 years ago, when it was all getting away from him. Darren Cahill has done a fine job in the last 1.5 years taking over the reins from Brad Gilbert. Oh, yes, well done by Malisse. You know, Andre Agassi has given Darren Cahill so much credit, and all of it well-deserved, because here's a guy who comes into the picture after Brad Gilbert has helped Agassi resurrect his career, after he's won 7 majors in his career. And as Andre said, he comes into a situation where the only thing that's going to be rewarding, the only way he's going to be determined to success is if Andre wins more majors. And that's a lot of pressure on a young guy, a young coach. And Andre Agassi, who knows how to dissect a game better than anyone I've ever met, is when it gets down to X's and O's. He gives Cahill so much credit for helping him in just little parts of his game, where to hit the serve. I think his ability to get to net, looking at the opposition.
Well, the fact that Darren Cahill was Leighton Hewitt's coach.
Yeah, that helped too.
that's gonna make you perk up when he starts talking.
A couple of good horses, hasn't he? 2-1 Malisse on serve, third set.
Usually he's up in the top.
2-1, Xavier Malisse, the 26 seed. Agassi trailing him in the third, but Agassi's got 2 sets to none, the number 2 seed, trying to get here through to the next round of this third round match. Agassi firing.
The Australian Open, he won 4 titles in 7 tries, and if there's one major he wished he had concentrated on a lot earlier in his career, it's that one, because it's an absolutely perfect surface for his game.
No question.
A hard court with a nice high bounce in extreme heat.
And a little bit slower than the courts in New York.
Yep.
The U.S. Open courts, yep.
It's Gil Reyes, who's been his strength and fitness coach for 14 years, and his great friend. Agassi came to him as a little kid, didn't even know his way around a gym. They started getting some work done, and then a couple of years ago, Andre said to Gil, look, can I get even fitter at 29, or do I just have to anticipate a slow downhill slide? And Gil said, well, let's see.
Gil has meant a lot more to Agassi than simply a fitness coach, as you've both been saying. In fact, when you talk to Gil, you hear the kinds of things, the kind of gems that you get from Agassi coming from his mouth, Gil's. The wisdom. Agassi at 40-30.
Among Agassi's great gifts is the ability to surround himself with just exactly the right people he needs, including his wife, who knows a little bit about the game.
Speaking about knowing how to get around the court.
Oh, open court volley. Malisse nets it, and it's 2 apiece in the third now. By the way, I spent quite a bit of time with both of the aforementioned, the coach and the strength trainer, Gil and Killer Cahill in Houston. I was there for the clay court championships. They were very, very interested in the Annika Sorenstam story and wondered whether we were going to see the same thing in tennis. I mean, could it happen? I mean, and then we're speculating about Serena's chances against the lesser players on the men's tour.
And what was her thinking?
No chance for sure.
Serena doesn't even want to broach that subject. Lord knows people have tried to get that out of her this week.
And good for her.
Yeah.
For taking that attitude. That's a no-winner, in my opinion, for her.
Yep.
Well, I like Sorenstam's attitude now, too. She says, I'm back on this tour.
Great.
And let me go for it. I'm not interested in going back on the men's tour.
No, Annika was pitch perfect, I thought, that week at the Colonial. She doesn't want to be a member of the PGA Tour, but she showed what she had. And as Serena said, I'm just interested in playing female tennis. And when someone pressed her more, Patrick, and said, well, if you were tempted to play against a man, and she said, I'm not tempted to play against
tempted her again now, Mary. Oh, I love her attitude.
30-15.
I like what I'm seeing from Malisse in this third set. He's staying in there. He's fighting. He's hitting his shots. He's not hanging his head at all.
He's dying with his boots on.
Yep. He's going to walk out of here with his head held very high.
It could be a little droopy.
The legs will be drooping.
Holds on. 3-2 for Malisse in the third set. Agassi 2-0. Third round men's singles live in Paris. La Tour Eiffel here in Paris, the Eiffel Tower, maybe the most famous structure in the world. Think of anyone that's more famous?
I guess I'd put the Great Wall of China in there.
Okay.
The only man-made structure that can be seen from outer space.
3-2. Xavier Malisse is taking on Andre Agassi, number 2 seed this year's French Championships. And it's 15-love with Agassi serving. 31 degrees out there, which is 84 degrees.
Did it all in your head, huh, Cliff? That was good.
No, I'm reading it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, well, you, the producer, said 84, and I'm reading 88. So I think it's 88. Whatever, it's fine weather. 15 all.
Oh, he's done it again with a kiss. So our friend Bill Raftery likes to say, our ESPN Hoops announcer. Look at Malisse on the dead run. And then again, slaps this one. Oh, it's just a fist bump. And a kiss his hand there. Oh, wow. 3 monster forehands.
String a few together, this Malisse. Did it to break Agassi in the second set, but then failed on his next serve effort, and here's what's to come. Chanda Rubin, and then Spadia, USA, and then also from the USA, Harkle Road against Cerna, Maui Cerna.
For his 4th forehand winner of this game, Malisse. That time catching it a little bit late.
Break point. Oh, risky, but an ace. And that's only Agassi's 3rd for the match.
And on the second serve there.
Right, please. Thank you.
Break point. Again.
Avantage, Malisse.
Well, this is it for Malisse. Actually, he has been acting a bit like
in
Matisse.
this game, yeah.
he's got one more burst of energy, he'd better spend it here.
Yeah, exactly. You're watching live coverage from Chatrier, Roland Garros French Championships. This is day 5, round 3. Agassi in action, number 2 seed against Malisse of Belgium. Drysdale, Patrick McEnroe, Mary Carrillo, third set, 2 sets to Agassi. 3-2 on serve, third set, deuce. Earlier today, Serena Williams, without losing a game against Barbara Schett here on court, Philippe Chatrier, El Anawi. First match, long match with Zabaleta, going down.
Last year at the U.S. Open, we had the All-American final between Agassi and Pete Sampras. That won't happen here. Vince Spadey and Andre Agassi on the same side of the draw. 13 men started. 18 started at the U.S. Open last year. 4 made it through to the second round. James Blake and Todd Martin both going down yesterday. So only 2 left standing starting today.
Well, I remember how Andre Agassi used to play to the crowd and draw them into his matches and all that. Now, his idea of entertaining the crowd is playing brilliant tennis.
It's all it needs. It's all he needs.
And he only really acknowledges them when it's all over, and he bows to every section of the arena. Which I think shows deep, deep respect for the fans and for the sport, the way he behaves when he's playing his matches.
There has always been a buzz, an excitement level when he takes the tennis court for one reason or another. And as you see, the winners for Malisse nearly, not quite, but a lot more than Agassi. It's still there. Nothing's changed, notwithstanding that he is not the actor on court that he used to be.
Malisse also with a whole lot more unforced errors, which we expected. 56-35 in that department.
Just as you said, Patrick,
yeah.
he's gonna be the guy with the fatter numbers.
Oh, nice stab. And it used to be Agassi earlier in his career that was the guy with the higher numbers, but now he's the ultimate percentage player. And he has the physical fitness to be able to do that, point in and point out.
Patrick, that when you say percentage tennis, it still strikes fear into my heart, because in those days that I played, when I was at my most successful, there was a separation between amateurs and pros, and they said to me, he said, Drysdale, when you turn pro, if you ever do, you're going to have to learn to play percentage tennis and then look out, man. And I said, what is that percentage tennis thing? Well, you see it from Agassi now, and he has 3-4 in the second. Third set. French Championships third round men's singles 4-3. Malisse over Agassi in the third set, 2 sets to none Agassi. And 15 love with Agassi serving.
Been a much tidier match for Agassi today. He's been very meticulous. With his shot selection, he hasn't been spraying the ball as he did against Ančić in the second round. But to tell you, Malisse has come up with some shots in this third set to stay in it.
Premier service. On to count.
What kind of detail would a guy like Andre Agassi and Darren Cahill, his coach, what kind of detail would they go into before the match? Or is this just generally a tendency discussion of the opponent?
I think it's more general, what Malisse likes to do, what he does well. If you want to try to, there's Darren Cahill on your right. Does he hit his forehand well on the run? Does he like to hit it inside out? Where does he like to serve on big points? Tendencies.
Agassi.
Even in the third set. 2 sets for Agassi, who's won the French Championships once. He was in 2 finals earlier in his career, both of which he was expected to win, both of which he lost. Lendl, Nicola Pietrangeli from Italy. Borg was 49-2, and Mats Wilander. Another Italian, Adriano Panatta, that beat Borg here.
Both times, in fact.
Yeah, he had a lot of flair, Panatta.
Oh, boy. He won the French one.
Yeah, he won it once, yeah.
Like Yannick Noah. In fact, they were sort of similar players, Noah and Panatta.
A little bit of personality. Those two. 20 years since Noah won it here. Last Frenchman.
Last serving ball here. You were asking Cliff about how specific Agassi would be. I think he's just so specific about everything. And just the way he measures the court with those little steps of his, and how he's always so aware of his body language. And just, you just see him at the end of matches. So many guys, they've taken off their shirts and changed shirts and stuff, and they just sort of throw them in their bag. This guy puts everything in those little plastic bags he carries.
Yeah.
And, I mean, everything is so fastidious.
Well, he's that way about everything.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean,
Yeah.
Patrick, you've gone to dinner with him a number of times. You'll call the restaurant in advance and have a menu all set in his mind.
Yeah.
All good, and this is 40-15 Malisse.
I've enjoyed a couple of dinners with this guy too, and I'm telling you, there is no one more courtly or gallant in a restaurant than
he loves it.
Pulls your chair out for you, and he's just
and extremely generous.
oh my God. You're sitting next to him, you got a good seat.
Malisse holds on. We want serve, no breaks in the third set. Agassi leading 2 sets to none. 4-5 now. We're back here with Xavier Malisse of Belgium and Andre Agassi. Take a look at that scene. This place is jammed in Lang Lang. That's at the top of your screen. That seats, what, 10,000? This 15,000 here. Both jammed. And Agassi serving here. 15 love Agassi. 4-5 third set.
The weather this first week, could it have been better?
Yeah, it's gotten a little bit warmer every day. Today's the hottest day. Moya toasty over there as he's up a set and 1 love. Novak over Ljubicic, 2 sets to love. Malisse just says that's just too good. Overhead from outside the lines. Clean winner from Agassi. You talk, Mary, about leaving nothing to chance. That's a shot that Agassi practices all the time. At the end of every practice, he'll take 5 to 10 overheads from the back of the court. Used to be one of Brad Gilbert's favorite drills. And that's the shot you'll hit once, maybe twice a match.
Good, Agassi.
5 apiece in the third set.
We've been speaking about how fastidious this man is. Here he is dragging his own practice court. You don't see that a lot.
The guy who's won 8 majors.
Agassi trying to re-alert himself right there, wasn't he? Like, come on, let's get this going.
Yeah, it's been a tidy, crisp match for Agassi, but it's been at 2 hours now, so he wants to get this thing done. After his last match took him over 3 hours. Had to save himself for week 2. Good looking group there, the 30 and over crowd winning slam titles. The Rocket, Muscles, Ken Rosewall, Agassi, Jimmy Connors winning too.
Has said time and again that you can't win the French Open in the first week, but you can lose it in the first week. And by that, he doesn't mean by getting knocked out. He means by spending too much time out there.
Big point at 30 all. 5 games all. If he truly wants to close it out, this would be a good time to make a move.
Oh, yes. Break point, Agassi. Agassi refocusing himself quickly, and it's paying off in this game. Got a break point. Malisse tries to attack the short ball, doesn't get it away from Agassi, and Andre just rolls it cross court. Good footwork. Oh, yes.
Spin lob is good on the line. The breaker serve goes to Agassi, and he will, when we come back to our coverage here live of this French Open third round men's singles match for the match against Malisse. Andre Agassi serving for the match here against the number 26 seed Xavier Malisse, the Belgian 22-year-old.
Malisse had an opportunity to put that point away, that last point of the last game, and he knows he's done there as he let that topspin lob went over his head. I'll tell you, this was just a wonderful hand from the crowd as these players came out after that last changeover. They have enjoyed this 2-hour and 7-minute third round encounter.
They've certainly appreciated the efforts of Malisse. The guy didn't go away.
Agassi won the first set. Malisse had chances to break him, but failed in the first. He wins it behind one break. Second set, Agassi serves for it at 5-4. And Malisse breaks him and then is immediately broken back. Agassi wins at 7-5. Third until the last game, no breaks. Then the break. This is Agassi serving for it at 15-all.
Oh, that's impressive right there. Malisse looking for a new frame in what could be the last game, hoping for a tiny adjustment might make a difference.
And a good time to be checking the tension, though, as he is here.
I like that, though.
Misses it. Only Agassi's second European clay court event on European clay. He won in Houston at the USTA Clay Court Championships there at Mattress Max Place, and Westside Tennis Club beat Andy Roddick in the final. But he lost in the first round of Rome to David Ferrer of Spain. Match point for Agassi.